caravan park was about 18.5 million to build it. And even Big Four's going,
Geez, there's a big part of me that's like, how?
yeah, well, exactly. But you have a look at the pools.
Yeah, yeah. I do know
play
how.
park.
It's like you sit there and it's like, it's just dirt.
Exactly.
It's power. Like, it can't be that much. But
And that's why they're all going, mate, you spend 5, spend 6.
yeah.
That'll be heaps. You're not getting it.
All right, TK, hello.
Hey Pete, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm very well.
We have a guest with us this evening, Rob Comiskey from the Comiskey Group.
Hello Rob.
Guys, how are
Long
we?
time no see.
Yeah, been a while.
That would be funnier if you hadn't said it 5 minutes ago off
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah, we rehearsed.
Yeah, exactly right. This is something we prepared earlier.
Yeah.
Rob, it's great to have you in. One of the things that I wanted to ask straight off the bat is the Comiskey Group. Who's in the group?
No, we might as well call it Comiskey family.
Yeah.
There's three of
The
us,
family.
3 directors, 3 owners. So
So that's your brother and your dad?
yeah, brother and dad. So we all owned our own separate businesses when we were younger. And then we had a very wise CFO who said to us one day, we've got 37 companies. This is becoming a nightmare. We all own bits of each other's. I own something by myself. I own bits with my brother, bits with my dad, and vice versa. And then he said, mate, we've got to simplify. Each of you got your own skill sets. Let's bring them together. And it wasn't easy to do at the time, but the best move by far. Like, because there's certain things that when we look at it now, each of us are very different. So
Yeah.
when we make each other much stronger together.
Really? So someone from outside the family told you this is what you should do.
Yeah,
Does that person still work for you?
Yeah. No, he retired.
Oh, right.
No,
Okay.
he retired. No, he's a CFO at the time, and he'd come from many different businesses. He'd been in like a lot of like cattle businesses, and
Yeah.
abattoirs, and all these different businesses. And then he was a smart guy, and he kind of changed our business. But this is probably the most significant thing he did was he just gave us that advice and said, "It's time to amalgamate, bring everything together,
Simplify it.
simplify. We all take a third each."
Yep.
Which was hard at the time because Dad obviously had a lot more money than myself
Yeah.
and my brother. Although we'd done a few shopping centres and stuff like that. I was heavily into childcare at the time. I got us into childcare, and so I'd done a couple of childcares. My dad went crazy and did quite a few childcares. In the end, we ended up between myself, my brother, and Dad. We ended up with 37 childcares.
Yeah. That's slipped and fell into 37
Yeah.
childcare centres. So, and when you say you had them, so you built them as well, Rob?
Yeah, and ran them.
And ran them.
Yeah, so we had 700.
It's two very different skill sets
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Well, I ended up running them, which I haven't got any degrees in, childcare.
In running childcare centres.
Why not? No, it's
business though, right?
It's a business, but you've just got to respect people that there's certain people you bring in your business. They know what they're doing, that
Yep.
education background.
Yep.
Let them do what they do well. And then focus on there's some things we got too focused on. Like they were just like weekly, reviewing policies for 2-3 hours. I'm like, well, hang on a second. When's the last time anyone came in and said, your policies are the best policies
Yeah.
we've ever got?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, like just focus on, let's make the kids happy.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that type of stuff.
Yeah.
If kids are happy, parents are happy. We've got a great business. And when we sold them, we had, I said 37 of them, and they had the highest occupancy in Queensland.
Yeah. Okay. So that all happened. That changed like when you sort of brought everything in together. That was early 2000s, right? 2004-ish or
Jeez.
roughly. It doesn't matter. We don't have to go into specific months or anything like that, but it was about 20 years ago.
Yeah, it'd be good 20 years ago now.
Yeah. Okay.
And with all your family, have you got clear lanes you stick into?
We never decided that, but I was thinking that the other day. It's funny. It got forced into certain things.
Yeah.
Like I run all the operations, so wherever we've got staff or operating businesses, that's what I do. But going back to what I did originally, I was an architect by trade and a construction manager. So
And childcare guru.
and then went into childcare. And then I went into
And pubs,
hospitality,
yeah.
and I was just young and dumb, and how we got into pubs was Dad said to me, I said to Dad, we should buy a pub. Looks
So
like,
is it one of those drunken Saturday night things? Hey, you know what we should do?
and back then, we had small shopping centres, and I just said we should get a pub,
Yeah.
and build a pub. So there's a thing back out. Oh, this has got to be 30 years ago now, something which was bar and grills. So you could open a little restaurant with a attached bottle shop. You could get gaming. You do this. So we opened one. First manager, Rob the Blind. Second
Where was that?
manager,
Where was that first venue?
Burpengary.
The Burpengary Tavern?
Yeah, no, it
Oh,
was
no.
the Woodpecker.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Woodpecker. So good old days. So and then we just kept getting robbed by the management.
Yeah.
So I said, oh well, you know, I'm young and dumb. Let me have a go, and if I do it right,
Yeah.
no problem. But if I don't, tap me on the shoulder and I'll get out.
It's interesting. It's almost like you probably force yourself to learn how to do it because no one else would.
It was out of necessity. It was
Yeah.
like, you know, surely I can't do worse than this.
Yeah.
And then
Can't do worse than
Yeah.
robbing us.
Yeah.
If you start robbing yourself, there's some issues there.
it's exactly right.
Yeah.
And then we went all right. That first one after I took it over, we went all right. I physically did like I'd work in the bar, I'd lock it up at night, count the money, you know, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And then we did another one, then we did another one, and then we sold those three.
Okay. As a group.
Well, at that stage, I didn't own any of it. I was an employee. I originally was when I left school, I did, as I said, architecture. Then I did was construction manager for Subway fast foods when they first came to Australia.
So
they had,
developing their store.
yeah, so they had one store. So answered this message, little advert in the paper. It didn't even say their name, didn't say
Yeah.
anything. So it's draftsman, blah, blah, blah. I need a job, $20,000 a year. Couldn't even get a job for 20 grand. So went and worked for this company.
A
Never
lot of
heard from.
sandwiches.
Yeah. I never even worked. Like I walked in, I said, and they go, do you know who we are? And I was like, no, we're like Subway. And I go,
Yep. And
okay. And oh, we're one of the largest franchises in the world. Back then, they'd done nothing in Australia. So
Right.
US massive.
I think they are now the largest. I want to say that largest units, the
really,
most units
Yeah.
of franchise on earth. GYG's got them in their crosshairs, but they are
They're gonna-
flying, those
catch-
guys.
that drive-through model, I want to talk about that because
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all. So one of the things obviously with growth is you can't be there locking up every night, 3 venues at once, right? So what do you do in that situation? You just rope in other family members, or are you starting to get team members at this stage?
No, I was pretty young at that stage. I was probably, I'm going to say 25. So it was a case of started trying to set up a structure without knowing how to set up a structure, and kind of fall into that.
Yeah.
And then I ended up running back then. We only had poker machines in one venue. I went really hard into retail, started running all my own specials in retail because I kind of had to. And we ended up having a large retail component to the business.
Yep.
Sold it out to a guy, Headley.
Yep.
Remember Headley?
Yeah, absolutely.
He bought it.
God, they were massive.
Yeah, well, he went. I think I don't know how many times he went broke, but he bought it, and Coles had just bought him out, so he thought I'll buy again. He bought the 3 off Dad, and then I said, Dad said, well, what do you get back in the pubs or something? And I said, well, if we go back in the pubs, we go back in properly, so a proper hotel.
Yep.
Not these bar and grills that we're doing. You know, a little bit of this. We want everything. I want TAB. I want gaming. You know, let's do the whole gamut.
Have everything. Yeah.
And then myself and my brother bought a block of land out of Beachmere, of all places. And we decided to build a childcare out there.
I'm just for those that don't know anything about Beachmere, do you want to just give us a quick, be polite, probably best for those people who are still in Beachmere, but what, at that point in time, obviously things have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
What was it like back then?
Well, Beachmere, it had 4,000 people, 3,500, something like that. And it was like, the problem with Beachmere is it's a single road in, or sorry, there's 2 roads in, but
Yep.
one's a back road.
Yep.
Thank you. Single road in, and it floods, and no passing traffic. So you don't drive through it to go anywhere.
Yeah,
It's
it's
at
a
the end of the road.
destination, right? You got to go there.
Not a great beach, but you know, nice little town anyway. We were young.
Yeah, the
and-
beach in the Beachmere name is kind of deceptive a little bit.
It is. They're going to get sued too.
Yeah,
right, for that
flat,
one,
yeah.
But so we bought this block of land, and it had a few hairs on it. We built a childcare. We got approval when we went for this approval, and myself and my brother, as I said, we didn't have that much money back then, so we tried to get a shopping centre and a pub approved on. Now I'm thinking, how hard can
No.
this be? There's no pub in town, and the shopping centre's very small shopping centre, so we tried to get something bigger. We ended up in a massive court case because the neighbour wanted to build one as well, and we didn't know that until we put in the application. So me and my brother built the childcare, and then we've got this court case going on. And I remember at the time, I thought, well, we're in now. I just don't know how far we go. So we basically leveraged and leveraged and leveraged. And I remember the barrister said to me at one stage, because it turned into a bigger and bigger and bigger court case, and we were in the end rolling dice. Yeah, we were done. We were over, and we were literally all in. You know.
Yeah.
And the barrister said to me, at what point are we at the point of no return? And I said, about 3 months ago, mate. I said,
Oh my God.
mate, we are 3 months ago. So don't even ask that question. We are
We're
winning.
in.
We're winning this thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're,
There was another option.
You're fucked.
yeah, we're done, mate. I think at the time, myself and my brother spent about $1 million in legals, 1.2 or something in legals. And back then, that was serious money for us.
And your lawyers would have loved you.
Yeah, it turned out to be a big court case for that year.
Right.
And we ended up winning, which was excellent. So we built a shopping centre, and then around this same time, that's when the amalgamation started. So Dad bought in, we built the pub, and then from there we went on to Eatons Hill, Sandstone Point, blah blah blah.
I watched a really good video on you this morning
Well,
when
what-
Eatons Hill was coming out of the ground.
was that the documentary?
Channel 7.
Oh no!
It
Oh,
was,
okay.
there was a news crew there
Oh.
talking about, and it's like, have you been to Eatons
A
Hill?
lot of ground.
Holy fuck!
It's on.
It's like layers upon layers upon.
I would have
we got a
questioned
rooftop
your
bar.
sanity. If you had come to me and said, "Oh, we're going to do this," I'd have been like, "You're an idiot."
Well,
no way.
I questioned my sanity. You don't need to.
But it,
I definitely did.
we might stop for a second and just smash a little bit of food
yeah,
and then come back because I want to get to the bottom of that story. So, just picking up, we just had a quick bite to eat here. My risotto was delicious, so much so that I'm wearing it as per usual. Dickhead, there's a reason why I don't wear white shirts. But anyway, so let's just, if we can go back to, and I suppose the Eatons Hill is kind of the is it the jewel? It's the biggest, right? I mean, it's the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, it was at the time.
You
Was
have
it time?
actually built fucking Sandstone Point.
Yeah, no, Sandstone Point. Look, everyone when we did Eatons Hill, it was something no one had ever seen before, and everyone said we were insane. Even my mates were like, "Going, this isn't possible.
What are you
Why are you
doing?
doing? Why are you doing this?" And at the time, it just kept changing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I was going to say, can you just talk us through some of the numbers? Like how much,
Yeah.
what the actual site is?
Yeah. Well, it's
Why Eatons Hill? Because
That
I'm
was
not.
pretty nice.
I spent a bit of time in Brisbane, not a lot, so I'm not real familiar with that area. But when I went out there, I was like, why the fuck is this here?
I think everyone says that.
And then when you took me through the venue years ago, I was like, oh my, it just kept fucking going and going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
like how that came about was I grew up in the mean streets of Launton, so Strathpine, Launton. My parents had always had businesses in the main street, like everything from squash centre.
Squash club, yeah.
Yeah, and then they had restaurants. My dad bought it like before Mexican became GYG.
Yeah.
It had a Mexican and restaurant. So we went to Mexico. He made us wear the silly hats back on the plane and all that to get all.
Did you go to Mexico if you don't get a sombrero? The
Yeah,
answer
exactly.
is yes. I've
But
been
when you're
there.
wearing them on a plane, and
Yes,
people are just
probably too much.
Gosh,
Yeah.
too much. And we had to wear the the thing over the top. It was not good.
Oh, the poncho.
Yeah, the poncho. We had the ponchos on. It was
Wow.
authentic.
Full
But-
cultural appropriation.
Yeah,
so
it was, now it would have been highly
Yeah,
inappropriate. Back
yeah.
then, get away with it. But yeah, so we they've done all that kind of stuff. So then one day we were doing a subdivision at Eatons Hill, a small subdivision my dad was, and I was across the road and I was talking to our lawyer who does our liquor licensing or something, and he said to me, "Oh, where are you?" or something, and I said, "I'm at Eatons Hill," and he said, "Oh, I just worked one family sued another family across the road or something, and they closed the golf driving range as being closed because the golf course next door sued them." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he said, "I think they're desperate." And I was like,
Ding,
"Oh,
ding,
ding,
ding."
ding." I was like, "You've just hit a chord."
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
How
God, he
desperate
got
are
me-
they exactly?
Yeah, he got me interested. He just said the D word. So
So that was the driving range.
yeah, so got driving around. So I was literally across the road. I hopped in my car, drove over there, and I said, "Geez, this is all right." Didn't know what we wanted to do with it at the time, and I rang my dad and said, "Get up here and have a look at this." He said, "Yeah, no, well, it's got a big frontage on it. It's good block, blah blah."
How big was it?
6 hectares. So yeah, it's a big block, big. It's kind of a bell shape, so skinny at the back, really wide at the front, which is awesome for real estate. So 24 hours later, 3.6 million. It's ours. And
now he's got more than that and guitars hanging in the basement.
yeah, no, we do have a few million guitars in that. We probably got, I reckon we've got the largest privately owned guitar collection, especially signed in Australia. Like we've got hundreds of guitars signed.
Yeah.
Anyone who plays,
Yeah.
at the venue from the start to now is signs a guitar for us.
And so you found a site. What's step 2? which step, just to be clear, step one is really, really important.
Yeah, you can't get to step two without step one.
No.
No, working out what you're going to do with it after you buy it is probably important.
Yeah.
So at the time, we're going shopping centre, we're doing this, we're doing that. I don't know. And then we went, oh, you know what? There's this Albany Creek pub went really well at the time. My dad there's a rumor around that he'd been thrown out of that pub, which is there's a big story in it. And if you're to extent anyone, there's actually a whole phenomenon about this thing about how he got thrown out of Albany Creek Tavern. So he said, screw this. I'm going to buy a pub down the road and bankrupt you.
Just tell me that's true.
That's not true. He got thrown out of Lawton Bowls Club. No, he actually did, but he got thrown out because they didn't believe where he lived. So, and then he didn't.
He wasn't a social member.
Yeah, because he lived. He had a resident of the Sunshine Coast at the time. So, anyway, they threw him out of there. But that's not the reason we went and bought it. You don't go and spend at the time. That was back then. So 13 years ago, we spent 35 million. Back then, so work it out now.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot back then. It's a shit ton.
It was. I tell you what, it put us under stress. We were young and dumb, and not that young, but we were pretty dumm.
So there's a debt component of that, right?
Oh yeah, heavily. And I can tell you, after we opened it, I worked for every Friday and Saturday night there, and heaps of other nights as well. But getting home at 4 a.m. and stuff like that, because that's when it runs to. And we can scan in, mate. We've had 8,000 or 9,000 inside the venue at one time. People.
The thing that people need to understand, but a lot of people don't understand, is you need to find call it 30 to get the joint open. But what a venue that size could dust every week if it's not run properly.
Oh, 100%.
That's the shit that'll give you nightmares, not the 30.
The wages make me feel
holy
ill.
And it did.
It did.
I mean, at one stage, anyone who opens a business that big, like it dominated. When it opened, it was a phenomenon. It was like we had a line up 3.5 hours to get into the venue.
And where were they coming from? Just all over Brisbane.
And that's
everywhere.
Just to go to the pub, just to get
I
know it's not just a pub, but
that's what people.
That's what it is.
A pub.
Yeah.
And they're going there. But we had them lined up around the car park, down the driveway, and we're literally going to people. You're not getting in.
It's not happening. Yeah.
It's not happening. Go home. We don't want you waiting here.
Yeah.
They wouldn't leave. We had 700 cabs at one stage come in a night to pick people up, drop people off. At that stage, no one else could.
That's probably more than the
It's on the Sunshine.
It became
it's definitely more than what's on the Sunshine Coast.
Because like people like Brackenridge Tavern couldn't get cabs to go there and pick people up, so they were giving them $5 to pick up a cab up. So they'd come there, the venue would give you $5, and then you jump in the cab and take off, and that'd be a bonus.
$5 tip.
Yeah, it'd be a $5 tip. So
because they couldn't get them.
Because they couldn't get them go there. No, well, that's before we opened. And so everyone's going, this is your biggest downfall.
Yeah.
You won't be able to get people away away from the venue because they couldn't. And it turned out that it was just so big that it drew anyone, like anyone who caught a taxi out of the city would come straight to us to get a fare back or somewhere else for the next trip.
When did you have any idea that it was going to turn into what it is now in terms of like the live music in particular? And because you've had some massive acts there. It's one of those things, if you read out the list of acts that have been there and you go, oh, it's at the Eatons Hill.
Yeah.
People were like, what?
Yeah.
Why aren't they at the convention centre or at, Suncorp Stadium? Like there's massive names.
Yeah, we've had like Post Malone, Prince, Marilyn Manson, Good Charlotte, you name it. Like the list goes on. It's huge. And one of the big problems we had at first was we'd put on an act and everyone would think it was a tribute show. So one of the first one.
I'm not going to lie. I reckon I thought the same thing.
Everyone was like, we had Good Charlotte play there. It was one of our first acts. It was a JD set thing. It was awesome. And we put it up and everyone's like, oh, well, it's a tribute show. And we're like, it is not a tribute show.
Actually them.
Yeah. So.
And again, I'm the furthest thing from a music guy, but I was involved in potentially getting a headline act to the Wharf. And I had no idea how much these guys cost.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts.
So going back to the 30 plus the fact that you could be bleeding straight up and then you got to book these shows in the hope that they're going to come to the Arts Centre fucking Brisbane to go and watch them.
Yeah.
Like
no offence to anyone at Eatons Hill. Surround.
I like how we just jumped in with
but I mean, you
the
the valley's one thing because you can get in and get out, but it's like out there, oh my God.
Yeah, and that must be. It was at the time. I remember I couldn't sleep much. because I'd wake up the next morning looking at the turnover and go, what did it do yesterday? What did it do not? And, everything goes to, you'd have to be crazy to sit there and go, this thing killed it and it'll kill it forever.
Yeah.
And it went really well, like solid for the first year,
Yeah.
at least doing silly numbers. And then, it goes through that. And I always say, you've gone through that. Everyone wants to go there too. Now it's kind of old hat. Now you've got to get into a sustainable model. And that's hard.
Yeah.
That's where you kind of sit there going, okay, how does this thing, being that much money, that much to take to run, get into a sustainable model that you can actually be profitable 13 years later, and still be
there.
very profitable.
Because lifespan's 5 in a restaurant. The general rule of thumb is that a restaurant will start to get on the nose after about 5 years, unless you keep reinventing it, keep it fresh, and stay ahead of the bell curve. And that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I use your group in particular, whoever does your booking acts. When we're talking about, getting ready for Christmas, I'm like, don't think that the Sandstone Point Hotel or Eatons Hill have lucked out because they're busy. If you go on your calendar on your website and look at what you've got coming up, the person who's doing all that legwork, fucking hell, they're working hard. I mean, it is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah,
so
it's a lot going on.
It's brute hard work and tenacity to lock all that in. That's the reason they're busy. It's not luck.
Everyone turns around and goes, oh, God, you guys are lucky. I'm like, mate, if you saw what goes in behind the scenes, the amount of money, you talk about the Dune and they go, oh, instant overnight success. The Dune, and you can't get into it. It's a year old now, still can't get into it. It's packed. And everyone goes, instant success. I'm going, mate, 15 years, $2.5 million in legal fees and pure tenacity. And that one there, we probably should have dumped and burned 5 times over.
Yeah.
But instead, we just threw it through. And now everyone's like, oh, it was always going to work. Of course it was. Yeah. Same as Sandstone.
I know that site. And I was like, when everything started happening there, I was like, holy shit, good luck.
Yeah.
And it's so good. So when I was working there, I used to drive past there every night. And just seeing the cars lined up in the car park, it's one of those things I'm like, I'm glad it did. Yeah. It's just like, it's so good to see where that is.
Well, you got to commit. You got to, and you got to. We always talk about a concept it's like a restaurant. If someone comes to me now and says, I want to open it, because we've got shopping centres and about 150 tenants, and I do the leasing for that as well. And they come to me and they go, oh, I want to open some guy reached out, yes, I want to open a takeaway. I go, mate, what is the theme of it? What is it? Is Indian, Chinese? What is it? And if they go, oh, it's just does a bit of everything, I go, that doesn't work.
No.
The same as Dune, and we always talk about all our hotels or venues have a personality.
Yep.
I think of them as an individual.
Yep.
So the way they dress, the way they speak, their menu design, their uniforms, their
persona.
Yeah.
Speak to it. Everything's got to speak to that.
Yeah, and then and it should be clear at any stage. If you start drifting from it, stand back and go, is that? It's clear. Like, what is its primary color?
Yep.
It should always have one primary color, and that should be in the menu. That should be in its umbrellas, its design, its
whatever
uniform,
it is.
everything. And that's where, we probably didn't have that perfect at Eatons Hill, but Sandstone Point, we kind of got that right. And when we can get that clear vision now, we can just see it through for forever.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, that's the idea. And I think that's the thing with this business. If someone was just to look at it like right now, I suppose, because you're still growing, right? You've got other sites that are coming. You get that Cooching Creek site is massive, right?
We got $600 million in developments going on at the moment.
Sure. It sounded like you just said 600 million.
Yeah. We've got $600 million to build in hospitality venues, mainly hospitality venues, between now and the Olympics, 32.
I feel physically ill thinking about, I'm currently we've got 2 new restaurants to open in the next 4 months, another one next year. And I'm sucking on all of the things to stop me from vomiting every single day. Not really, but there is a lot to do, but that is a next level kind of stuff. And
it's and the good part about it is it's A grade projects. We don't, we've got enough on now. We've got enough money that we go, what is it going to be? Something special?
Yeah.
It's not going to be something special.
Not interesting.
Why do it? Money can't be the driver. If money's the driver, then it's you're pretty soulless
I think the thing is though, this is a generational business, right?
Yeah.
So like and we start talking about that fun word legacy.
Yeah.
Is that part of it? Was that always part of it?
No,
Start going, we're going to build an absolute monster.
no, I don't think it. I think it's just developed into that, and then we kind of, I'm lucky. I was born into a very motivated family. So my dad is extremely motivated, and I don't know, maybe I caught that from him, and then my brother, and we all do something very different. We bring a different skill set.
Yep.
And with that, when you put all those skill sets together, like my brother, his wife is really into the interior design. My wife helps with the events.
Yep.
David's 3 kids now. They're all, one's 17 or about to turn 17 to 21, 22. So they're now getting into the business. So it will have to be an intergenerational business.
Yeah.
Because and that's exciting. It's a different phase.
Yeah.
But we've now got we've got 2 more resorts to build, 5 more hotels to build, 3 more shopping centres. One of our venues we're about to start, it's a different venue again to what anyone else has seen in Brisbane or in Southeast Queensland. It's got 8 lanes of bowling in it, a full arcade, American sports bar. It's got an American barbecue pit outside. It's got pickleball courts and shuffleboard courts, and it's got a putt, and it's got karaoke rooms. It's got indoor batting cages in it, like a virtual baseball.
Whereabouts is that?
Strathpine.
Back to the
Back
roots.
Back to the roots.
Back to the roots.
And the funny part is there was a famous hotel back in the day called Country Club Hotel. I don't know if anyone's...
I know that name.
Yeah, you drive through Strathpine. It was on the left. It's kind of Tudor style back in the day when I was young. And that was very famous. Like if you went to Strathpine, that was about the only...
That was the fancy place, was it?
Yeah. It was a local pub. You
Yeah.
could go in there, you could get your teeth knocked out, you could get something to eat and grab some beer.
What a great Tuesday
Tick
night.
all the boxes. And then, but they knocked it down. So, and they turned it into the 4 Mile Hotel, which is owned by ALH. And it's a typical hotel. But this thing, we went back and grabbed the name because the
You
name,
did?
Yeah. So now that we're going back to the Country Club Hotel.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
And reinventing that because it was a bit of history.
When did it change over from the Country Club? I reckon I might have called on it when it was the Country Club Hotel. Was that
Good
2000?
years ago.
I reckon I called on the Country Club Hotel.
And they knocked it down. They built a service station on it. Then they built a Dan Murphy's at the back and that kind of stuff.
Jim Barry Lavender Riesling.
No, I was selling Four Sisters would have been my lead product in that part of the world back then. That was a portfolio of wines. I'd walk into somewhere like that and they'd be like, nah, it's too expensive. And I'd be like, holy shit, see you later. If that's too expensive, I've got nothing else to talk to you about. So
It's like Eliza or Rice Boy. Show me every bottle of wine you've got that's under $10.
yeah.
I don't have any. That was a quick meeting.
Yeah.
Catch you on the other side.
Thanks so much. It's been great. Peace out. One of the things you mentioned earlier about some sort of numbers with employees. So now where are we at? Like what's the business at in terms of across everything? Because I think one of the things what I'd love everyone to sort of probably get a little bit of knowledge of, it's not just hospo, right? Because you've got the development business as well. Is there still building?
Oh yeah, we've got I don't know, at the moment we'll probably build $50 million worth of developments a year.
Okay, but that doesn't include your own stuff, or it does?
No, that's all we do is build for us.
Only internal. Okay,
So that 600 million will be us building.
it's all
that.
you. Okay,
And that saves us from going out and we get blowouts and stuff like everyone's been going on about. Like, we see a bit of that, but we don't see the full
You
extent.
control it.
Yeah, we get to control a bit of it. Where, we've got a really good small construction team.
Yep.
When I say that, probably has 100 people on site or something.
tiny.
Compared to others, it's tiny.
So then the rest of the business, what's the number get to?
We're probably at about 750 in the hospitality side.
Yep.
Head office 20, something like that. So in development side, if you look at it, there's music. There's one music and me, and that's a risky business. So for us, it's myself and a guy called John Jackson. He's worked for us for 13 years now, and he was booking nightclubs, DJs at Eatons Hill just after we opened, and then he just said, "I want to get into live music," and I said, "Well, you got the drive. Let's do it together and make some mistakes." So. And we've made some mistakes, and we've also made a lot of successes. Like we sold the most tickets in COVID of anywhere in Australia at Sandstone, and that was because we drove it.
Yep.
We actually went out and purchased that act. We put together lineups ourselves. where everyone else is sitting back going, it's too risky.
Yeah,
We own the venue, so there's a level of risk there
and control.
and then control.
Is there a market that's bigger with live music or DJ, or is there?
No. At the moment, the contemporary market, like 18 to 25, is really struggling. You can see that with like places like Splendor and the Grass and so forth have all crumbled, and there's a list of
There's more
festivals like that. But country music's going through a massive.
Isn't it?
We put a guy, Tyler Childers, put it on
Oh, yeah.
sale, and I didn't know Tyler Childers, and mate sold out 5 days later, 12,500 people.
What about back in the day when I was a young fella? A friend of mine opened a bar in Mooloolaba, and he was a DJ. Spent a lot of time in Japan DJing, and he got a couple of mates and who had come up. They were all DJs. They'd come up once a month and play in Mooloolaba, and it would cost $500 or $600 for them for the night. The Stafford brothers and Timmy Trumpet.
Yeah,
And I don't quote me on this, but I think Timmy was just mates with him,
he was.
and he just wanted to come up on the piss. So
Yeah.
I think he didn't charge.
Oh, when he worked for us, so Stafford Brothers would come and play, and if you want Timmy Trumpet, you'd pay $500 more or something, or not even that. It would even be less than that.
And they'd all stay in
$12
Yeah.
in a 6-pack.
Yeah.
they'd all stay in the owner's house, which was just out the back, and they'd just get on the piss.
Yeah, oh yeah,
And
mate, they
they're
still do that.
They'd be,
Responsibly.
they'd,
The boys
they'd-
They're
they'd be
animals.
li- they'd be lined up down the street, and I'm like, hey, I get it. They were super fun.
Yeah.
But now you look at them, and I'm like, how much would those boys cost?
Well, Timmy Trumpet's now one of
Oh.
the largest DJs in the world. He
In the
plays
world.
main stage Tomorrowland. He's huge.
That's massive, isn't it?
Yeah,
And I'm
huge.
thinking,
What are we talking for those kind of numbers? Like, what are they? What?
Oh, they can. they can earn
what's a good
hundreds.
act?
Oh, you can earn hundreds of thousands per
Really?
thing. Mate, they're getting private planes. They're getting flown from here to there.
Yeah.
They're earning some serious coin.
Yeah, I see.
And
You
they're
see a bit
playing-
of Fisher. He's doing
Oh,
all right.
Fisher. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Live golf.
25,000 people on the down on the Gold Coast on the beach just for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
what about
pretty cool.
Live Golf? He was over at
Yeah.
Adelaide,
Yeah.
and at like 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday night at the golf
massive.
club, there's 30,000 or
Yeah.
25,000.
Doing shoeies with Cam Smith.
Yeah.
So
It's
cool.
not that I don't want to be there or anything, but if anyone knows anyone,
Yeah.
ready to rock.
I'll come with you.
Make it,
Yeah, exactly.
make it 3 tickets.
Actually, I might have a jump on that.
But we're in. We'll do it from
yeah,
there.
yeah, exactly.
Go.
So what I love to see as well is just sort of trajectory where you've gone big, continue to go big. Have you ever dumped anything? Is there anything that you've got rid of?
We sold Beachmere Tavern last year.
Was there just
It's
business
the
decision?
smallest hotel with the smallest turnover.
Right.
And with that, it also had that problem we were talking about. It's the end of the road,
Yeah.
no passing traffic, not enough high population around it. So we kind of sat back strategically and went, okay, we're going to own one hotel here, and here. We only want to do Southeast Queensland. So we only have projects in Brisbane, Moreton Bay and Sunshine Coast. That's pretty much it. We've been offered to go everywhere around Australia.
What's the rationale for that?
I want to drive there.
Okay. You want to be able to get to every venue.
Yeah, drive or fly the helicopter. No. No, don't, we don't do that. We have a helicopter. Myself and my brother both fly it, but yeah, no, it's really drive. If you can drive, I don't want to. I was talking to Tony about this the other day. I just we had childcares in Cairns and
Yeah.
council and all that. The amount of you got one problem, you got to jump on a plane.
It
Yeah.
sucks.
By the time you get to the plane, by the
2
time you
days.
You ride a day off.
you go, okay, I could have driven there, sorted that out, maybe an hour drive, sorted out, got an hour, there's 3 hours.
Yeah.
I can be back in the office by 10.
At least you can punch a bit of work out when you're driving on the phone.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a bit
like
hard when you're in a helicopter.
hour and a half. Yeah.
If you
But you get there.
If you're
You
flying,
get there in 5 minutes. but-
autopilot.
So are you one of the hardest things that I learned in my time sort of chewing through this hospitality game is I think it's incredibly important not to be emotionally attached to a venue. For me, if the hard work outweighs the reward, I just chop it. I'm out. And because I've had venues before where I've fallen in love with them and it costs money, or it's not making any money, but it's taking 15 or 20 hours a week away from me. And I kept it going for way too long. And now I'm like unemotional. I'm happy to shut a venue down. And some people are like, oh, what is everybody going to say? And I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
You can't get caught up in that. Imagine if
Oh,
You
If
would,
I
you-
had-
you-
if
would
I
you do
was-
anything? I think
there is a lot of people out there that go broke because of that.
there's,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people listen to
Yeah,
other
the
people when they
pride.
shouldn't as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Pride kills
What are
them.
they
Ego
going
will
to
be the
say?
killer
Like,
of more men than anything else.
when people say to me, and I get it a little bit, like, oh, you got the Midas touch. And I'm like, you want to talk about the 70 grand I lost 2 years ago on a fish and chip shop?
Yeah.
A fish and chip shop. I just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And we had that for 8 months or something, like we tried so hard and we just couldn't get the model
Just couldn't
right.
work.
So I just fucking shut it. And I think that's one of my biggest strengths now, I believe. And the hard work the reward has to weigh up, or else it's not worth it. And I think about what you do, and like, fuck, like I said before, you have a miss. That miss can be catastrophic.
Oh yeah.
Like
Well,
if something went
mate,
sideways in one of your venues, it could cost you 100 grand in a week.
Oh yeah. Well, we did Eatons Hill again. We were saying everyone said we were insane. We opened that thing, boom.
Yeah.
We went and bought a block of land at Sandstone Point near Bribey Island. Now, Bribey Island, they call it God's waiting room. It's the oldest population in Australia.
And there's
At that
nothing
time.
there.
Can we just talk about that? That drive from the freeway to Bribey Island, possibly the worst drive in Australia in terms of, it's like, oh, I'm at Bribey Island. It's like, no, you're not.
He doesn't drive
Mate,
in there.
20
He
minutes.
taxes
Just keep
helicopter.
going. It's like,
I've seen people when I fly over them. It seems no,
Oh,
I'm just
Jesus.
joking.
I've heard about that
Yeah,
road.
yeah, no, I'm joking. Mate, I get accused of helicopter planes. Oh, let's go to Comiskey's land.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
no. I'll be standing there talking to a person and they go,
Oh, that's it.
Comiskey's. I'm like, oh, is it?
Is
Really?
it? Yeah, someone else
Assholes.
has got it.
Yeah, just us.
Um,
Yeah, no, I've been like when we got approval of that, people are going, why didn't they make them upgrade the road from there to there? I go,
Oh yeah.
it's only a couple hundred
Yeah,
million,
yeah,
probably
yeah.
more, 400-500 million.
Moreton Bay Regional
course.
Council might have something to say about that.
Yeah, okay, of course, I should have done
Yeah.
it. Just part of the
Piggyback. You need to put a roundabout in and a fucking
Yeah.
zebra crossing. That's 300.
And they wanted me to upgrade 20 minutes of driving
Huh.
all the way to the venue.
Yeah.
Not happening. Then, and that's where and everyone goes. So we went back to that one. It's 34 hectares on the water. Just a big block of land. Beautiful block. Everyone goes, you can't do anything with it.
Nothing there though, right?
Yeah, there was a house that burnt down.
Right.
Oyster shed down the front that was just decrepit and old. And
Are there leases there? No.
yeah, along the
Is there?
front. Yeah, but we don't have them
gonna say,
because I
can't
lose
imagine.
enough money elsewhere. So I don't need to go and start an oyster.
I
leasing
can't imagine
business.
that water would be the.
That's-
anyway.
Well, they are, mate. It's very. They're a chuck's cloth.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think I want a chuck's cloth in that water.
Good oysters, mate.
That is not pristine. I used to water ski there. I know exactly how it is.
That's beautiful. And
Probably different now. Yeah.
so we went out there and we bought that, and we paid 10 million for that thing, and then we said, oh, we'll put a venue here, and everyone's like, again,
You know.
it's about 35 million to build the first stage of just the venue, and again, people are like, mate, it's 30,000 people around it, oldest population in Australia. You guys are
They're
insane.
never going to come.
And we're like, but it's such a beautiful location. They're going, so we're going, we reckon people are going to drive. They're going, mate, they're going to have to drive an hour, some people to get here. And we're going, well, we'll see. Anyway, it's been booked out for 7 years, Saturday and Sunday straight.
Yeah.
So, and then we doubled down. We built an oyster shed. As Tony said, when we did that fish and chippery.
Yeah.
That was a hard business.
Should have listened to them.
Yeah. But and in the end now, and then the problem with that again is we did a fish and chippery, way too small, not enough beverage. So we knocked it down a year and a half ago and spent about 1.5 million or something building a
Going bigger.
kind of a beach club, because I'd just been to Greece and Bali, and I was just like, okay, we're going to build a beach club. And it looks like a full beach club. And now it does as much as a medium-sized venue on its own.
Yeah.
And then after we build this, and then we go, right, we've got a caravan park approval here. So we'd never been to caravan parks before. So we, as a family, we get in, plane, fly around Australia, have a look at where's the best caravan parks. We go and have a look at these caravan parks.
Where is the best caravan park?
There's some in Queensland's got a couple of really good ones.
Yeah.
Coconuts and Cairns, Ellie Beach.
Is there one on the Gold Coast? It's massive as well. Like,
Yeah,
it's
there's
full-
one where you've been near Helensvale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huge.
That went in since we opened,
Right.
but yeah, it's good. It's good, that one. And then so we went and had a look at them, and we were like, yeah, okay, but they don't do hospitality particularly well.
Yep.
They get the people staying in caravan parks, and
And they leave.
they get their own cart, and they show up and all that kind of stuff.
Cheap,
So,
cheerful, nice
yeah.
barbecue area.
yeah, so we went in, and our first stage of the caravan park was about 18.5 million to build it, and even Big Four's going,
Jeez, there's a big part of me that's like, how?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
exactly. But you have a look at the pools.
Yeah, yeah. I
Pools,
do
water
know
play
how, but
park.
it's like you sit there and it's just dirt. It's
Exactly.
power. Like it can't be
And
that
that's-
much. But
And that's why they're all going, mate, you spend 5, spend 6.
yeah,
That'll be heaps. You're not getting it. But what I did was I was staying down at Elements at near Byron Bay. And my wife said, you've got to have a holiday. She forced me to go and have 4 or 5 days off down there with her and the kids. And then I got there and went, hang on a second. It's a caravan park. And I said, but it's a caravan park on steroids. It's a resort that could be a
there's
caravan park.
Yeah,
So I said to my brother and my dad, you've got to come down and have a look at this thing. So our development manager and David and Paul, my dad and brother, got in the helicopter and they flew down there. I got permission from the land. We went through the whole place and they went, I get it. And then we came back and we changed it as we were constructing this place, and we changed it and went more 5 stars. So we basically went, this thing's going to be 5-star caravan park.
Yeah.
And we concentrated on the food and the beverage, and now things are juggernaut. It does 2,500 cocktails a week over the bar.
It's a lot, eh?
how good is tequila? I'd say that's tequila, right? At the moment, is tequila. Everything is tequila.
Yeah.
It's so weird. So
Margarita.
weird to watch this fashion. Like with one of the venues that we're working with at the moment, I just had a look at the sales this morning from last week. 5 of the top 7 cocktails, or 5 of the top 6 then, same, were tequila based.
Yeah, same here.
So there's margarita of some variety. It's just the fashion change.
Yeah.
I was saying to someone last night, I was talking to one of the guys at work, and he was saying how he went out last night and had an espresso martini. I said, "Oh, good on you to go back to 2010 because that, it's like the fashion. It just changed. It's
Yeah, it
just
is.
that click.
And then
all of a
gin
sudden.
went so strong.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
gin's
absolutely.
still there now, but it's definitely on the end. But
I think gin's still there on its own, whereas the gin cocktails are always kind of part of it. But tequila just went from 0 to 1,000.
Yeah.
And look, good timing for lots and lots of people in the industry over there, particularly the famous people that put their names to it and sell it and that kind of stuff. But that's a shit ton of cocktails.
you can't still, that
It
year.
has to be there. That's the
has to be
thing.
there,
So it has to be there. It has to be that plant or that kind of stuff.
We do it. We've got a
Clearly, you've tried.
story. Oh, mate, I have.
There's a couple of people that have done it.
Yeah.
There's the guy M&J Becker in the Hunter. They made some. They went up in North Queensland. There's some agave up there, blue agave.
But you can't call it tequila.
No, you can't call it tequila. So it's basically it's a agave liqueur or agave spirit, and
Like champagne.
it's exactly. It is do. But I remember speaking to him about it, he's like, I will never do it again because they nearly died picking their cactus because you got to cut them and it's a pain in the ass.
Skill set.
So much effort involved, and it was just the two of them went up and did it, and they were just covered in needles. And they're like, nope, absolutely never again.
A good friend of mine's just he's starting his own tequila company out of Mexico with Adam Gilchrist,
Okay.
targeting the Indian market, I believe,
Oh,
because Adam Gilchrist is massive in India. But they're strong. They're going to be, by the end of the year, they'll have juice in the bottle, I reckon. So
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to get too. Jeez,
Yeah.
it's hard to get.
And that's the thing. It's also there's a price point. Like
and
it's nothing to go
expensive
below.
too. Good tequila is expensive.
Yeah.
And crap tequila can be expensive as well.
Yeah. The next
But
day.
it knocks you around.
Fancy bottles. One of the things we ask every week to all the guests, we've sort of started to do this season, is a question from Jen, my partner, which is like generally something fairly left field. So this week's question from Jen is the Doonan actually haunted? So allegedly, I'll give you some
Yeah, by
Maybe the profit
the
loss is-
neighbours.
yeah.
No,
So allegedly there was rumours when it was the Bavarian or
Yeah.
whatever it was
during
for a long time that one of the reasons it closed was because it was haunted.
no.
No, you haven't
Closed
seen a
because
ghost.
we
up
bought
there?
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we haunted it.
Yeah,
Maybe we're the ghost.
You're the ghost?
But no.
No one's come across anything
No.
spiritual there at all.
A few of the around the finance meetings it gets a bit spiritual.
Yeah.
But other than that's about it.
Right.
I've felt a kind of like we should do a Ouija board sometime.
Yeah.
but No.
Maybe
never
check the
heard that one
cameras.
before.
Check the cameras late in the evenings and see.
But, if we have any alcohol missing, I know where that went.
Yeah, exactly
there you
right. Yeah, it's just someone that loves Shardy in the corner there. So, so what's next? So, like we said, you've got that property at Cooch and Creek.
Yeah.
Obviously, your
Festival site. Yeah.
your Monday.
We've got two. So we've got 2 Cooch and Creek properties.
Do you?
Yeah. So everyone.
Of course. Yeah.
Of course.
TK has 2 as
We
well.
bought one.
I've only got
The
one.
second one in a pair. It was a special month. No. So we got.
Buy one, get one.
Yeah, buy one, get one free. So we bought 150 hectare site, to an two ex turf farms and a strawberry farm, and that's fully cleared. And so we're going to do a big festival site there. So we're currently going through the approvals for that. So that'll be the biggest festival site pretty much in Australia.
Wow.
Can I ask one question about that?
Yep.
You mentioned earlier, festivals obviously a challenging time for festivals, particularly in this country. What are you going to do differently? What's the thing that's going to make? Is there a silver bullet that you think this place is going to be?
I wouldn't say it's a silver bullet. I'd say do it right. Try not to be too focused on. I
It's
just
a big
say,
question.
yeah, it is a big question.
Because I don't want to take any proprietary secrets as
No,
well. And
there's a number of other people have made mistakes and put money over where you need to be, and it's almost you need to sell when you have a look at anyone who's doing it really well.
Who's that?
Tomorrowland,
Yeah,
Coachella,
the big guys. Yeah.
Stagecoach, those guys. They're more focused on the experience than they
So it's
on
entertainment.
it's equal. Yeah, it's equally focused on experience as well as
Music,
actual
yeah.
music or the headline artist.
Whatever that is.
So we'll try and make it where, like a venue, like when you drive in the front gate, like at Sandstone, we always say, Sandstone can do about up to 20,000 people. And the first concert
Sorry, at once.
at once,
Just to be clear. Yeah.
yeah, just at once. And our first one we got offered was Elton John at the time, and we said no. And the reason we said no is. And the reason we said no was because if we don't do it properly and we don't do it first time, it's like going in a restaurant, open every
You got
seat
one
up,
chance of a first
just get
impression.
in.
Yeah.
You guys never worked. It doesn't matter. We'll do 2,000 meals the first day. Well, you won't do 2,000.
Yeah, you would say it's when I do it the second day.
Yeah,
And
and
you fuck it up.
Yeah.
and then it's like what we did was we got the Beach Boys from America, and we brought them out.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, yeah. And it was an interesting one. We did 5,500.
Even TK's out of the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Your
actually.
music knowledge is getting tested. Now.
Yeah, well,
Cocktails, mate.
we did.
Great movie.
Yeah, and we did them, and we made it felt like we did 5,500. You might as well said we did 50,000.
Yeah.
To me,
That one would
it
have
was the most stressful day of I've ever done. Probably that day.
And yet you've got pre-booked tickets. You know how many people are coming, all that kind of thing. But it's still, this is the thing I don't think a lot of people don't understand. Those events of that size, it's a whole other kettle of fish in terms of intensity at once.
It
Because
is.
you've got everyone pulling you from every
Just the
direction.
infrastructure,
Yeah.
just alone.
And it's a totally different skill set to what people go. Oh, well, you do bars. Okay, that bar and
Doesn't
this
matter.
bar,
No.
not the same thing.
No.
That is set up for pure volume, and you have to limit your items between 8 and 10
Yep.
products over the bar, and then also it's walking steps between that product and where I walk back to the cash register.
Okay.
You have to limit the amount. It's movement.
Yep.
And then it's one person stands at the cash register, takes the order, and then
a runner.
when you're really busy, you have two runners.
Yeah.
One going that way, and all I'm doing is taking your order. I'm taking payment
Moving
for that person again. I'm now on to my next person.
Yeah.
And when you can get that speed going and that efficiency,
Yeah.
and then you got everything stacked right behind the bar. So again, that movement of that,
Yeah.
not running, hey, we need ice. Let me run 6 kilometers over
Yeah.
here and get some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff kills you.
Yeah,
By the end
yeah.
of the day, it just
Yeah,
grinds you down
yeah,
to a halt.
yeah.
So there's that. But also at Sandstone, we made sure that we did it a little bit different than anyone else. And that's why I think it's been so successful is we actually made sure that if you came there and you really like drinking your drink, you can get it because you go up into the bars and everyone's like, oh, okay, shut down the bar and just put, just the 8, 10 products
Yeah.
in there. It's like, nah. People want to line up. They
Limiting
can
your
line up.
revenue options
Yeah,
as well,
they can
right?
line up. But you say, hey, I really want to drink Jack Daniels only.
Yeah.
Okay, you can get Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Or hey, I want to drink, my favorite Scotch or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You can do that,
Yeah,
and then that way, at the end of the day, you've gone, how good is this?
Yeah.
But the best day ever.
Yeah.
Not
We
some-
limit the lineup.
You don't have to just sit,
Yeah.
drinking the same old usual
Exactly.
shit.
Yeah, and it also takes you
Yep.
that person. They're going to buy a drink. So if it's a $12 like premix or go inside and have an $18 whatever, it's like
Yeah.
it's 30% more.
Exactly. And then it's if we get foodies, only really quality foodies.
Yeah.
And making sure that we change them up. And my wife books them, so
Yeah.
it's kind
Oh,
of
so you bring people in for that?
100%.
Yeah,
When you're
okay.
talking 20,000 people.
Yeah.
It's you've got
You
to
got
have
multiple
you got to have
operators in there.
at least one per 1,000
Yeah,
people. And you get peak periods. It's
Yeah.
like, everyone wants to eat at 5 to 7.
Yeah.
So you're never keeping up with that stuff.
No. And now that you've got a reputation for putting on these big events, those good operators will be
Yeah, they're lined
waiting.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're lined up to come in, which is good. It's we have good respect for those guys. That get in. It's a hard one what they do, bringing all their food with them, and
No thanks.
and
Yeah.
That's a mug's
Yeah.
game pass.
yeah.
Out of all the acts you've had, and this is particularly probably speaking about Eatons more than anywhere else, And I know you might have some NDAs that have been signed in bits and pieces, so you might have to think about you might have to think about this, or maybe not, and maybe you don't have to mention names. But is there one story where you're like, I actually cannot believe I physically witnessed that happen, or something where someone was just a complete
Fuckhead.
dick? Yeah, or both. Because I'm guessing there's probably more than one, and right
Just
now you're trying to
narrow it
distill it
down.
down
There's
to
heaps.
something that you can say.
Yeah, no, there's heaps. Probably the most memorable, and I've said this one before if anyone's heard me say it, but Marilyn Manson was the most interesting one. It was
He's a very
That's
strange human being, isn't he?
Surprising, I
yeah,
guess.
he's a different rooster. No, and that one was like, we get the person in, and they had sold out concert, sold out in advance. Where we had 2,300 or something in the room or whatever it was, and they had a thrust. They come in and they said, "Oh, we want a thrust." So a thrust is the
Catwalk out
into the
stage.
middle, and it takes up a crap load of room.
Way
We
too
don't-
much room.
And we don't have enough room because we've already, no one said this,
No.
and then they're going, right, we want that in. So we have to try and put that in. And then I want the venue painted black. Wherever he went, the venue had to be painted black. And we're like, well, we can give you a price to quote it.
Paint it black.
Paint it black and then paint it back to the dark grey that it is already.
Yeah.
Then we had-
Charcoal won't do.
yeah, charcoal won't do. And then we had, doesn't like TVs, remove all the TVs from the venue.
What do you mean by that? Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around doesn't like TVs.
Yeah,
Just
doesn't,
doesn't like
I don't
looking at
know.
them?
I just think
Don't
there's some
get it.
pretentious git who's trying to get some self-importance. He's sitting at home going, how can I be the most annoying fuckstick that I can? What probably Googled. Like,
yeah, writing the worst.
Yeah,
Mate,
what's the worst
we were-
writer ever?
Mate, well, we had Mariah Carey was playing Sandstone.
Oof.
She didn't end up playing in the end.
She
but-
didn't.
No, she didn't end up playing. The whole tour fell over. But she has one candle from Europe, 700 euros. And you cannot substitute
700 euros
for one candle.
for a candle.
Yeah. So we,
right,
we,
yeah.
we didn't even get to buy the candle, so it was good. But yeah, Marilyn Manson have to remove all mirrors from the venue. All,
Why?
have you seen him?
Doesn't want to see him.
yeah, probably.
Oh my God, I'm Voldemort.
You can't be the whole, vampire look at yourself thing. And then he walks in the room, everyone has to look at the ground.
Oh,
I'd
I'd eyeball him
yeah,
Yeah, you would.
you would.
just to stir
it's
him up.
like-
Yeah, you totally.
I'm not looking at the ground. I was like, mate, he had to drive inside the venue. They had a person stand in the lift, look at the ground while they push the button. And because you go down one floor and you can't push the button himself. So,
Can't or won't?
well,
Same.
I don't know. And then
Doesn't matter. The result's the same. I
yeah,
suppose.
he's a results. And then also come in. So we push the button. It goes down. He's got his girlfriend, which extremely hot girlfriend. Comes in, stands beside, doors close, bang, the lift jams. So never had the problem with the lift
Now,
before.
are you in this lift or
No,
you're
no,
out, you're
I'm
external,
outside. I'm looking at the ground outside.
Yeah.
Right? I'm checking
not
out.
looking at televisions?
I'm looking at no mirrors. I'm looking at no TVs. I'm looking at the concrete. And next minute, all I hear is this: I can smell coffee, because we had to remove coffee from the venue, and we didn't. I'm like,
Oh.
removing coffee from the venue. And then we got the doors open. He's gone back, sat in the van for 45 minutes, and
Sulking.
no, working out whether he wanted to walk down one set of stairs, can be in the green room in literally 30 seconds, or would wait for the lift to be fixed. And they're going to me, when is the lift going to be fixed? I'm like, mate, it's Saturday night. Like, I don't know.
I've got to call Schindler.
Yeah. No, I won't say names, but it could be them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Justin Crook.
mate, and then finally, after 45 minutes, he decided to walk down the stairs into his green room.
What a generous human being he must be.
Yeah. So,
God,
it was-
that's I don't know. You couldn't deal with that. You couldn't.
They don't have the mental capacity. I'd end up in
we
jail.
had another artist, and I won't say their name, but very big artist.
Can we guess?
You
Doesn't
can-
matter. Doesn't
You
matter.
can try.
Keep
They're
going.
touring again.
He
in
wants to
Australia
rebook
very
him.
soon. Actually, they've just got on sale. Anyway, this guy, he was playing at Sandstone, and that narrows it down. And he's vegan, so he not only
Sorry.
is he
Start
vegan,
googling this immediately.
he can, but not only is he vegan, then his whole crew need to be vegan, and also his production crew and his the guys who record the stage, everyone has to be vegan around him. So we had to cook them breakfast. So obviously we were
Bacon, egg.
told it's all vegan.
Yeah, no.
So we're going, okay, it's all vegan. And then next minute the guys are going, hey mate,
Can we get
easy,
some-
what are we gonna
get
do,
some
some
bacon
bacon?
out here.
Yeah.
And we're like, we got told no bacon. They're like, mate,
We'll
we
do
need
anything for
bacon.
bacon.
Yeah.
Like we need bacon. So we get bacon out, and then they're going, but if he comes out you've got to piss this bacon off real quick because you can't smell bacon on us. I'm like,
Oh, that's probably one of the most intense smells and flavors known to man.
Big on his own.
Exactly right. It's like I definitely know what bacon smells. Everyone knows what bacon smells like. That is not something you can just wash off you really quickly.
Yeah.
So, is there a point where you'd be like, that's enough?
I've been asked this a few times now. For me, enough would be if I didn't enjoy it, and so is my brother and my dad. My dad's like 81 years old. He works 6 days a week. He's the most expensive bobcat driver in Australia. You'll go on a job site now, and he'll be driving a bobcat.
Yeah, good.
And he still drives trucks and all that kind of stuff, and he enjoys it. My brother, we could all probably retire now, no problem at all, live comfortably. But for me, it's passion. If I love a project, it's worth doing.
What motivates you, Rob?
Well, definitely not money. For us, if you had money, we get offered projects all the time, and we're sitting there and going, "Can we make money out of it? Hell yeah, we can make a lot of money out of that. Can we do something special with it?" But because it's a lot of work not to do something special.
Yeah.
Like, this one we're doing at Strathpine, it's got an indoor play centre that's 6,000 square metres, a 3-level go-kart track. The venue I was talking about before with all the bowling in it and arcade and karaoke rooms and all that. And that comes from imagination. No one came to us and said, "Why
that's
don't you do
Willy
this?"
Wonka.
Yeah, that's like me sitting at home and going, sending my brother Instagram stuff going, "We should just do this."
Yeah.
And he's
But
going,
get 25 things and just jam it into one.
Yeah. Well, you can't keep doing the same thing. And that's
No.
when we opened Eatons Hill. Everyone's like, "Okay, so they pegged us, that was it." Open Sandstone. Shit, very different.
Yeah.
Pegged us, that was it, And it will be the same. We're opening Dakin Tavern in March, and everyone will say, "Well," and then Doonan, we just opened Monday last week. We've got Aura, which we're just settle on next month. That's a live band
That's
venue.
a big site as well, right?
Yeah, it's a 1.29 hectares or something. And the venue is about 6,500 square meters. So it's like an Eatons Hill for the Sunshine Coast. And that's got, I can fit about 2,500 people internally for the van room. And then you got downstairs. And that's going to be a Mediterranean theme, food orientation, stuff like that. And then we've got, obviously, Coochin Creek. We've got 2 resorts to build. Each one of those resorts will be different. Coochin Creek's on the water.
Yeah.
So it will be everyone thinks Sandstone's a 5-star resort. You'll see another level of 5-star on that.
Really?
We'll take it up another
But
5.5.
even I was lucky enough. You showed me through the Imperial at your Monday, bringing such a beautiful old pub back to life. Geez, you've done a good job in there.
Yeah, first
Like
stage.
it's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
it's really, really nice.
Yeah.
You really feel as though you've paid homage to that building.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to go out there and see it full of people because
well,
your
so-
Monday's lucky.
Yeah, no. Look, we copped a lot of crap when we bought that one. I'm used to it. That goes, but you just got to, know that what you do in the end, people will appreciate, and they always say that. But we opened up the first stage on Thursday, and Saturday it was great. Just to see staff very vibrant. They were just smiles on their faces.
Yeah.
Everyone was walking around, and the place was full, and I was going, now this is the vibe.
This is what it's meant to be.
Yeah. So, and it was it was a pub that wasn't a pub. So it didn't have TAB, didn't have gaming, didn't have a kids room. It was like soulless. It didn't have TVs. It didn't have anything.
Marilyn
go
Manson
there.
can go there.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson. So I think it had mirrors. And yet, for that, we were going, it's such a big pub. It's 5,500 square meter site. It's got accommodation. We've put in the mineral pools in accommodation. That's started to go really well now. We've done the first stage. Next stage, Asian fusion restaurant upstairs. Beer garden. We're ripping the roof off and taking up a level. A big LED screen, new bar, new kids room, 200 square meter kids room, which no one has around there.
I don't think anyone has much anymore, do they? It's
No,
just like,
we lean into that. We love, we look at family and go, yeah, everyone goes, oh, it's got gambling, it's got gaming. That's great. If you like that, that's for you.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, we're very family oriented.
there's the other side of the pub.
And which is family orientated. And we want you to come and everyone get a little bit of something and be entertained.
Yeah.
I always say it's, what do we sell? We sell atmosphere and entertainment, because other than that, people are like, go there and they're like, well, bored.
And it's nice to be able to take your family out for lunch and know that your kids aren't going to be sitting there after half an hour staring at an iPad. I think those venues there's such a demand for that.
Well, I was at Doonan last night with my wife and kids. And when I showed up about 5:30, there was literally probably 50 kids on the back lawn, kicking
running
footballs, jumping on we just put a jumping pillow in there. And they were just like,
Sorry, what?
Jumping pillow.
Massive.
I need more
It's like a big pillow. It's like a
It's like
trampoline.
It's like a
Oh,
pillow.
in the ground? Oh, yeah.
the one
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Very
got that. So it was good because good wholesome kind of venue, and we got that. Sandstone's exactly the same. Like we had Oz Kick out there a couple of days ago, and we had when the jetty lunch was on, and we did 2 servings of the jetty lunch, and there's literally they said there was hundreds and hundreds of kids.
Yeah, a few years
Full
ago, I
venue
went. I took my wife's mum lives down that way, and we went there for Mother's Day, and it was just an ocean of kids
Children, yeah.
down at Sandstone, and we were down at that oyster bar, and it was so much fun. The kids couldn't get into any trouble, and we were left alone to have a couple of beers. You always could see them. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And you sit back, and I said to my wife, so "There's no wonder it's winning. Like it just appeals to so many people." And we were right down the bottom. We didn't even go back up the top and have a look through the pub. So,
And then
Yeah.
when you go to the resort, like that resort's got a jumping pillow, putt, pump track, full arcade. We're about
swim up bar.
swim up bar. Wins with the adult.
Swim up bar, you say?
And then it's we only put that in because we had one pool and we just kept adding more villas and stuff. And in the end, we're like, we need to have a
It's
separate
not big
pool.
enough, yeah.
So we added in a big spa and a pool and a swim up bar. Which
And
is
you just finished doing the luxury accommodation over water
Yeah.
bungalows and stuff like that, right?
yeah, we got bored, and so
I don't believe that's true.
no, it was we came up with an idea. It wasn't my idea. I'd love to take credit for it. We built 21 villas there. 7 of these villas are overhang what we used to have a dam. The dam wasn't pretty, and we built it into a natural lagoon. So natural filtration system. They did one at Woodford. Expensive to bloody do, and don't have any chemicals. Crystal clear water all the way to the bottom. Quite difficult to do. And we built 7 villas over them. And yeah,
Sounds a little
Right.
like Curran Cove, kind
Yeah,
of like
kind
the
of.
original.
well, yeah, we did it, and everyone's like, "Oh, I don't know how this will go." And we originally said, "Look, we're going to be charging 1,000 a night." And everyone's like, "That's ridiculous," Well, I think they told me today that some people just booked $2,300 a night. So, but it's it's
Is
running.
that about Briley Island? I think?
Yeah, it's running at 93% occupancy. So
Jesus.
it's crazy, but it takes a lot to run that place. But
A lot of people, manpower, energy, all
Yeah.
the above.
not so much energy. I love that business. The reason being is when we opened it, we never done one before, but you go and stay there and you just see the enjoyment that people get out of it.
Mm.
It's another level. It's like a venue. Great. You see them, the kids come, they eat, whatever, they have a great time, but you go and see people staying there, the most wholesome fun ever. The kids are riding around scooters and, mum's got a drink in her, dad's got a drink in their hand. They go over and we have a cinema night and everyone sits out next to the pool and then we play bingo and this, that, and the other. And every night they've got multiple things happening and it's just really good enjoyment for families.
I think there's this. I love golf, and there is one of the things that's happening in golf at the moment is this conversation about golf is an entertainment product, and I don't think it's as a sport it hasn't leaned into that in the past, and there's things happening now internationally where they're like we actually got to realise this, and so the players now realising this, that it's actually worth something as well, hence Liv and all these other things that have happened. And Liv have probably captured a bit of that, but it's also this idea it's not just one thing, and I think that like you mentioned that venue before that has 45 different things going on in it. And it's not a pub anymore. It's not a venue anymore. It's a precinct. It's an entertainment precinct where you can get so much more out of it. And you can do one thing, or you can do 100 things.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really interesting way of moving forward. It probably in the US it's been happening for a long time where they sort of get that. You go somewhere, it's like, let's capture them. We're going to give them everything.
Don't want them to leave.
And things like baseball is probably a great example where it was the longest game on the planet. So what do? They keep you entertained the whole time. There's dancing, there's music, there's hot dogs being thrown at you, all that kind of stuff. But there's something happening the whole time. I think that's something that is really unique.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people doing that where it's more than one thing.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen what we're about to do,
Yeah.
but I'd bet on it. It's going to be successful.
Yeah.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know how many million that thing will cost, but it's 1,000 square meters internally. It's a big animal.
Yeah. I could tell you a lot.
Yeah. So to fit that out, but that's again a very different style.
Yeah.
My brother and myself and we've got one girl who works for us as a stylist, and as I said, his wife gets involved as well, and we've already designated the style for it, and it's very much very, very different to what
Yeah,
everyone
okay.
else has done.
Well, looking forward to that one for sure.
Yeah, can't wait.
Working with family. Probably the inevitable question I think that everyone's going to ask you at some point in time is that there's always going to be some tension when there's someone doesn't agree.
Yeah.
Does that happen often?
Yeah.
A lot?
Yeah. Yep. No, look,
Did you want to think about that a bit longer?
no,
Or?
look, I don't think my brother and my dad would mind me. I might need another drink if you're going to.
Yeah, we can sort that out.
But double no. Look, I think it's probably one of the most rewarding parts of what I do is working with my brother and my dad. I think as I get older, I really enjoy it a lot more and appreciate it a lot more.
Yep.
When we were younger, we didn't understand that nuances of how to work with each other.
Yeah.
And I think as you get older, you appreciate the people around you more. Like I definitely appreciate what my brother does and what my dad does and what we bring to the partnership. And people say, they might see me on the camera more, they might see me on the news, whatever. They throw a lot of praise my way. Oh, Robert's a genius. Well, mate, I'm one part of the cog.
Part of the three.
Yeah, I'm one part of the cog, and everyone throws in different ideas. And I probably can throw in more than most because I don't know, I just love ideas and we throw them in. Some are greater, some are not. And my dad, probably I got my work ethic from him. He's
Sounds like
a
it.
ridiculous workaholic, and my brother, he's big into style and he does a lot of construction, almost all the construction side of you look after. And with that, we kind of bounce things off each other all the time. So we'll be on site and we'll go, hey, should we do this? We're changing materials. We do that. We do a lot of the design ourselves.
Sure. So when you're actually physically in the venue.
Oh, 100%. We've got he's got an engineering background. I've got an architecture background, and then all three of us have got builder's license.
Yeah.
So I've got an open builder's license. Brother's got a medium, and Dad's got an open.
Yeah. Has there been a massive bust up at any point in time?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can you remember what it was over? Was there something where you like look back now and go, "What the hell? Why
it's
were we
always
so
something
upset about
stupid.
that?"
That's exactly right. Like, you just got to, look back at it and go, Jesus Christ, what was that about?
Yeah.
But it's passion, but it's also, we're all very passionate, and you got to appreciate other, and you just get sometimes cool light of day. You got to sit back and go, you know what? Who cares? Like, I reckon I'm right. I reckon I'm wrong.
Yeah.
There's certain, as I said, Dad's 81, David's 2 years older than me. So there's things we can see that Dad doesn't see, some things he come up with that we're going, no at the time, but turn out to be really successful. One thing we don't let Dad do is get into the music department. He's 81 years old. He's the first one.
Johnny Cash.
Mate,
Mate, I won't say the act, but he made myself and Jono book this act, and he kept writing us till we booked this act. And I think we lost about 80 grand, and the act never played, and he sold like
7 tickets.
No, I don't think that, man. It was so bad, and he even admits this, so he won't.
Right. I was going to say you would always let him have it about this as well, right?
Oh yeah. After this, he lost all rights to get music bookings, so he shouldn't have been in it anyway. But and it was like, then he goes, right, okay, we're up to the day where we're going to lose our deposit. We're going to lose 70 grand advertising this, that, the other. And or we move forward and then we pay the rest of the thing. And now we've got staging, production.
Yeah. They're on the hook for it.
Exponential losses. Right?
Yeah.
So we're talking probably 200K in losses at least. And he goes,
just that conversation.
He goes, and then he says, let's write it out. They won't wait. They won't want to play for 5 people or whatever we had in tickets. And I went, oh, yeah, they will for that much money.
Absolutely.
They'll play to 5 people.
Yeah, be a couple. I'll come down and play.
And I'm going,
great holiday.
I'll play the spoons.
This is like the case of, who's going to flinch first? Or drive and I'm like, no. Anyway, we end up biting and
cancelling,
and it wasn't good. But you live and learn.
It could have been worse.
We're in it. Music industry is synonymous with just high risk.
Yeah.
Like we risk millions of dollars a year.
What is it though? What's the big thing? Is it acts changing their mind, acts cancelling?
No, you can have an act this year. Well, it is that too.
Yeah.
But you can have an act this year that sells out, comes back next year, and it's just gone off the boil.
Just that fashion thing.
Yeah, and then, mate, they sell half the amount of tickets. Like I went one recently. I won't say their name because they just played.
I really want you to say that name.
Yeah.
Really.
Well,
I mean, I get why you're not as well. But
And we bid and we bid and bid, and we're talking hundreds of thousands per concert. And we're going in hard on this thing. And then, he'd been here before, sold really good on his last tickets. And then next minute comes this time, bombs. We were lost hundreds of thousands. So we're actually devastated at the time. Mate, we had Violent Femmes booked to come out of America right before COVID. I'm in Noosa at lunch, at boozy lunch, had a couple of drinks, and next minute I get a phone call, they're not hopping. No, it's sold out. It's sold out the venue, and they're not hopping at Sandstone. So there was we'd risked some money, but we'd made some good money on this one, and they're one of the ones you go, great.
Yeah.
We've got to be one every now and then. And they're not hopping on the plane because of this thing called COVID. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a fluke. Get on the plane.
Yeah.
So it was just
Like
happening.
kicking off
It was
February or something.
it was like nothing, you just go, thank you. It's just
Interesting.
like, what are you guys on about? Back then it was nothing, but now you go, okay,
Oh, shit.
turn it to be something.
Yeah.
But I never got that. Like, we got our deposit back, but that have to refund
Everything. Yeah,
everything, and then
exactly.
you spend all the money on advertising.
You're never going to get that back.
Keep
That's-
pissing all the people off. That
Exactly.
planned it, yeah.
And then, you'll get that. We'll come back next year. Well, we haven't been back there. So.
What's your day to day look like?
My day to day is very different in every week usually, but management meetings. So Monday I do Sandstone Point for management meetings pretty much every week if I can.
So your head office is
In Eatons Hill.
Eatons Hill, yeah.
Yeah. So Tuesday, so I do the two big animals, so Eatons Hill and Sandstone, Monday and Tuesday, management meetings for the full management.
So when you sit down, do you just cover off the week that was,
The
and
week
the
that
week
was.
coming up?
Week that was, week
Yep.
that's coming up.
All
events.
just financials or not everything?
No, financials, so turnovers.
Yep.
And then we have a finance meeting once a month, which is this Wednesday.
Yep.
It's 6 hours of finance meeting.
So
Of
that's
every
line
venue.
by line.
That's line by line.
Everything
Every
else,
venue, every GM comes in, presents line
Cries.
by line, cries, gets praise
Yeah.
sometimes.
Does the so do you have a GM overarching all of them, or is it venue by venue has their own management team?
We have a venue management team, so a GM with their management team under them in each venue.
Yep.
And then up till about 2 years ago, I oversaw all them myself, and now I've got I'd have 2 or 3 court cases running at a time, planning environment court for upcoming developments. Plus, also I do all the leasing. Plus, I do the oversee all the pubs or any operational business.
Yep.
So it's a lot for one person. So I brought in one of our managers. It was really good. He ran Sandstone Point. He ran the Holiday Resort in What's and I said, mate, how about you come into
Come
the
into the
office?
office.
Because, we've got your Monday opening and then Ackerman opening and then, mate, 2 months or November will start Earthworks Stratpine. So it's opening a big venue every year.
Next. Yeah.
So as well as making sure those current venues run really well.
So is that the guy that pulls together all the managers for the venues for those management meetings, or is that just happen?
No, we
organically now?
get a finance meeting gets sent out once a month.
Yep.
And that's basically they just pick a day and go. Everyone's coming into head office, and they have to come into head office, and they watch everyone else's P&Ls as well. So it's very open, very
Yep.
honest. But you can see.
So you do it so all of the managers for all the venues will come in
Yep.
and because I'm
And-
just
and-
about to start doing that myself.
and they'll sit with the directors and the CFO, and we'll go through line by line of every business on that day at 6 hours.
So your Monday guy will be listening to the Sandstone Point. See, I'm about
So
to do that, and I reckon there's great merits
Huge
Well,
amount. Of
because you want to show off,
Yeah.
and if you'll go over the tail between your
Competition.
legs if you get hammered.
competition is
And also, you can then compare things like, front of house wages, back of house wages, food GPs,
Yep.
all that stuff, and it's relevant. And
Do you have a
that-
group chef?
No, we don't at the moment.
Yep.
We might in the future, but
Yep.
at this stage,
So each venue has its own head chef. Yep.
yeah. And so, what we'll do is we'll sit down with them, design the menu, get them buy in, do tastings at each of the venue, and then roll them out.
Who was the guy at Eatons Hill when you first opened your head chef? There was a guy there.
Angelo,
No, he was the one. I'm trying to remember his name.
John.
John, was it? There's a guy that I definitely worked with at some point in time. I swear he was in all your promo videos at the start. Curtis?
Curtis Stone? No.
No,
No.
different Curtis.
No.
God, there's someone there that I definitely work with, and I can't remember who it was. Anyway, that was great question, Peter.
Yeah, no, we had the Discovery Channel in. And that led somewhere.
Good.
We had the Discovery Channel in, and they did a thing on all our chefs and us right at the start. Because
Right.
the biggest venue well, they were saying the biggest pub in the world. or
Yeah.
biggest.
Okay.
So for that, it was a lot of food based, and
Right.
they highlighted all the chefs and stuff. And they go,
Maybe-
"What does the day look
Maybe it
like?"
was just some random apprentice in the background that I'd worked with at some point in time.
Yeah,
But
probably.
anyway, I do remember someone there.
So you start the week, you got your financials for the big
Yeah,
boys.
and then I go out to leasing meetings if I need to go to leasing meetings, meeting different potential tenants, and then between that, working on the court cases or working on new venue design, and getting all the consultants in line for that, and then kind of because it's a big animal, so you got to feed it. So get to the end of a venue or the end of a project, we have to have the other project ready to start, and that sometimes can be years in the making.
Yeah.
Regarding by the time you get, DAs, BA, operational works, all that type of stuff, like Coochin Creek, the caravan park there, or the resort we're building. We're already doing full detailed design, even though we're probably a good year just before we get on site. Because when we get into it, we want to get into it.
You want to hit the ground running when you go.
What about your own mental health and all that type of thing? Is there any, do you play sport or anything like that?
I play pickleball at the moment.
Do you?
Yeah, no. I put
Fastest growing sport in the world.
Yeah, no. Since I've started,
Bullshit.
No.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
No way.
yeah,
100%.
yeah. No,
Is it? You're all over it?
it's huge. No, so I had my house I had designed for a tennis court in the house, which is hard to fit. I'm sorry, not in the
I
house.
was going to
but
say, just
the
for a
outside.
second, I just need to put it up here in the house. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
That's excessive. That's too much.
No,
I don't want to tell you it's too much, Rob, but it's too much.
well, it was next to the football stadium I put in.
Yeah,
so-
but-
Yeah.
No.
Bowling alley.
So outside, and the suburb I live in is, quite expensive. So it's kind of, I couldn't afford to I didn't have enough land to put this tennis court in. So I'd always sat there and I thought, because the house got bigger, so I couldn't get the tennis court in. So then it just dawned on me about 2 years ago. I was like, I should put a pickleball court in. And I measured it, it was perfect. So I built a pickleball court, and now on a Tuesday night, I got mates come around and some of them are professional athletes, and it feels good to beat them. I can tell you.
Yeah, wow.
Some of them professional cricket players, others are in the Broncos, all this.
Do you want to
kind
throw some names out there so we can embarrass them, or
of
is
stuff.
there anyone in
Chris,
particular?
Chris Lynn, when he shows up, when he's back in the country, beat him once or twice. Tony Staggs, I don't want to. Look, great athlete.
You don't want to embarrass them, but you
Yeah,
do.
great athlete, but just
Shit,
Got-
get the ball.
Got nothing.
tackled the other night, just devastating. Should have let him win, but yeah, no. So anyway, we got about 5 or 6 mates come around, and then we have a
That's
barbecue
cool.
afterwards.
No.
Yeah.
So it's good for that kind of stuff. And then I've got a young family, so I got 2 identical twins that are 10, 13-year-old boy, and I was stupid enough to go again. So I've got a almost 2-year-old little girl. So
Ugh.
so it's
Jeez.
full on. So
Oh, sorry, I mean, that's congratulations.
no, it's yeah. So
Tell Marilyn you can turn one of the fucking TVs back
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
and
that's
you can
right.
still
Yeah.
keep it sane, mate.
yeah, no, it's yeah. So it's just spending time with them, and
I was going to say, you did mention before that spending time with family is an important thing for you. So, because when you don't have a lot of downtime, that's a really important thing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, look, I've been extremely lucky. I've got a great wife and great kids, but also my extended family is very good. Like my mum and dad, both alive, amazing people. My mum couldn't be a more generous person for time or whatever I need. And then my dad, as I said, like I see him. I work with my brother and my dad every day.
Yeah.
Now, okay, we've got screaming every now and then or whatever. It's pretty full on some stages, but it wouldn't change for the world.
It's pretty unique that you get to do that as well,
Yeah.
because there's not a lot of people that can do that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've managed to, I suppose, as three individuals have a skill set that sort of marries in together in the same kind of world that you can then just benefit. Like you see these exponential benefits. It's like, okay, I can design it, you can build it, let's run this thing.
And even
That's
in,
pretty unique.
in its most organic form, going to work with people who you don't trust anybody like you trust your
Yeah.
family, and business is a fucking lonely place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when it's bad, it's really lonely, but when it's good, you want to share it with somebody and
Celebrate the wins.
yeah. And I mean, I'm lucky because we've got partners in the venues and I'm in and around them every single day, but I can only imagine there is significant upside to seeing and riding those waves of successes with your family as well.
Yeah. Look,
That's cool because no doubt you're gonna have a blue. Everyone has the blues,
we
but I reckon that the wins that you have, and you got your brother and your old man there, that's proper.
And we've rolled the dice a number of times. We're very much risk takers. In fact, I look back and go, what were we thinking? And
You can't be entrepreneurial without it.
yeah, but like people are going, you're insane. I kind of look back and go, yeah, it's like that
And
blind insanity of we reckon this will work, and we're prepared to put it there. And sometimes we were going, like looking back on it, Sandstone Point probably shouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
But go in, don't do it half-assed. We go in, we go in.
Right, yeah.
Like, I remember one of my mates said he walked into the venue when we opened. He goes, "I'd love to say this is not the best venue I've ever seen, but it's the best venue I've ever seen." And I take a
Kudos,
bit
yeah.
of praise from them. He'd tell me if he didn't think so.
yeah,
So, it was good. But yeah, it's having that family around kind of and to see where we've gone from. Looking back, 13 years ago we opened Eatons Hill, and that could have gone one way or another. But now the size of the business and with that is challenges.
Yeah.
And it will be more challenges in the future regarding. We don't want to own 250 hotels. I'm not interested in that. We want to buy some if we can add value. We're building a heap, but we'll probably end up, 10 to 15 venues. I used to say a lot less than that, but now it's gone up.
yeah. But the 10 to 15 venues that are 16 hectares, it's a little bit different. to
Yeah, I say
10
that
to
to,
15 fish and chips.
it's funny. I said that to a mate of mine. I said, 10, I just want to do 10 hotels for 10 awesome hotels, 10 hotels that just absolutely kill it. And he said, but that is equivalent of having 100 venues, Robert.
Yeah.
He goes, your venues aren't a normal venue. He goes,
Yeah.
you've got 8 businesses in one, and they are. Like Sandstone Point is like 8 businesses in one.
Yeah.
We go through, functions. Sandstone Point does 180 weddings a year.
Yeah.
180 weddings a year. So that in itself is a monster business. And then you go, okay, then you've got your live band venue. Then you've got,
Jesus.
we've got restaurant, 2 restaurants. You've got bars,
Yeah.
nightclub.
Cafe. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got, part of our business is we buy and sell knickknacks in there. And so you can walk into Sandstone and buy something off the shelves,
Yeah.
What about the retail side of it? Retail
Yeah.
booze. So you've got DBS, right?
Yeah, we've got 8 or something like that.
Are they banned? Are you on a banner group or?
Yeah, all of ours is in LMG, so
Yep.
bottom up.
Yep.
Except your Monday, which is in Liquor Legends. 'Cause
Okay.
it's in Liquor Legends.
Yeah. Okay. How do you find that? That's a whole separate business altogether as well. Retail booze is another world.
Yeah, it is, and it's a hard one. When I did when we had Finnegan's Chin, we had an
Yeah.
Irish pub.
That was the first one.
No,
wasn't it?
that was after Woodpecker.
Oh, was it?
So it's Woodpecker, Finnegan's Chin, and we go with the name Finnegan's Chin when we were driving to Toowoomba looking at an Irish pub. And anyway, we had a lot of retail, and I ran the retail, and I literally ran it. So do all the specials by meeting with individual reps,
Yeah.
writing the, putting together the advertising, and then sending that out, getting distributed. And it was full on.
Old days, like
Old days.
letterbox drops.
Exactly,
Yeah.
letterbox drop, and it was called what do you call it? Mega Store, Mega Liquor. It was Mega Liquor or something like that. Jesus, yeah, no. Yeah, looking back,
Yeah.
I should have thought that. No?
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, I don't think that's going to fly anymore. It's,
I've seen it.
different show.
maybe people didn't hear that, but if you did, Corey yelled out, "I've seen that channel." So there we go. That's for Corey's wife. He's seen that channel. So, is there one thing? Has there been one big failure? Is there something where you're like, we fucked that up?
Sure, there is. There's ones where you have to bounce off a wall. It doesn't work. Rethink it.
Yep.
Rethink the strategy. Go, okay. Yeah, yeah, I'd say there has. I can't think of any really big ones. We've had to close venues. I'm pretty sure we have. But yeah, you pride. You were saying before, pride kills you.
Yeah.
Sit back, think of a way to reinvent that business. And we've had to close businesses before, but you go, okay, can we fix it?
Yeah.
If you can't fix it, no point grinding yourself into the ground over it. Bounce a wall, lease it out, do something different.
Yeah. And learn from it.
Yeah, and learn from it. Never do it again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's the idea, right?
Try
Yep.
never do it again, but
Yeah.
probably will.
Yeah, inevitably that kind of stuff does happen. So, mate, thank you so much for coming to chat. It's been awesome. I think we'll probably do another couple of these just with you. I think it'd be great to delve into some things, and I want to hear more about the stories. We'll probably keep talking when the cameras turn off, because I think some of those music stories, I just think they're hilarious. So
I look forward to the book coming out.
Yeah, once that book gets
They
released.
never really they never really felt a disappointment. I go, oh, I think about that. We had Ice Cube. I remember one night we had, and the next night we had Cypress Hill. So I'll save that for next time. But let me just tell you that was
You
interesting.
got Public Enemy coming.
Yeah, we got Public Enemy coming. And
I said to my assistant, Zash, I said, oh, they got Public Enemy coming to Sandstone.
She's
Yes.
like, who?
Who's that?
Yeah.
no, they're going to Eatons Hill.
Oh, Eatons Hill.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Eatons Hill. But
where were you in the 90s?
you know,
She wasn't
Oh,
alive.
no.
was she?
you know, you get phone calls on the way here going, oh, would you be interested in, you know, one of the biggest bands? Like, oh, yeah, I wouldn't be.
What, I mean, you don't have to say the name, but I would love to hear, like, if there is a name that you're like, is there one actor you want to get and you haven't got yet? Like, you personally, like, God, it'd be great to get.
I'd love to get Oasis
Holy
when they
shit.
when they play. You know, we can all
Well,
shoot for the stars, but I know
they're coming, aren't they?
they heard today they're very much coming.
Yeah.
That's good.
But they will play Suncorp.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they should
And
probably do
Absolutely.
Tell her that.
3 times
Yeah,
over.
yeah, probably do multiple Suncorps. And so that one you can't get. But look, I don't know. We had Post Malone at his
Yeah.
prime. So Post Malone was like, when they first booked him, they said, "Oh, we booked this guy Post Malone. He's playing outdoors." Eatons Hill. I'm like, "Who's Post Malone?" And he was.
No.
I'd never heard him that
Yeah.
stage, but it was just on the cusp. And then 7 months later, when he actually played, he had 3 songs in the top 10.
So did
globally.
you just go,
Globally.
But that's
Mate.
that's the thing where that's not luck. That's someone
No.
who knows what they're doing, going, we're
We
right
gotta
in
get
this
this guy.
curve,
Yeah.
and like had that foresight to look ahead. That's a skill, right?
Well, I found even lost people I went to primary school with. Like, I was probably in a cot next to them in kindergarten. They're ringing me up.
Yeah.
They
Hey,
now
Rob.
know. They know me.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
mate, I just rang up. Just want to catch up.
You just
Yeah.
And then
flick
it's
your
like,
phone off when that
and then I'm just like, yeah, okay. What can I do for you? Look, I hate being that guy, but
But I'm going to
I'm
be that
gonna
guy.
any
do it anyway,
chance I
yeah.
could get tickets to? Let me guess, Post Malone. Yes.
No.
No,
No.
there is zero chance.
Yeah.
Like, that thing was sold out I think it sold out in 30 seconds or something like that, and 9,000 tickets. So it's kind of like it's not one you can just go and keep inventing tickets for.
No.
And it's one of those your perfect timing kind of things.
Yeah.
You don't get them very often, but when you do get them, and geez, it's a good time. But
30 seconds, eh? Fuck.
yeah, so,
Have you tried to get F1 tickets for next
No.
year? Thanks, Netflix. You fucked that up for us.
yeah, you made
Really?
it popular.
Oh, mate. We went to the Bomvoy. Marquee.
Bomboy thing.
Yeah, the Marquee is sort of above pit lane last year. And we were talking to the guys that I went down there with. We were like, we're going again. It was so much fun. And they sold out in like 4 minutes. So I
I reckon you might know someone that's probably got an in with some Formula One to get this. It's all right now.
we ended up
I have to
we
be
ended
a
up looking a couple, but it was far out. Fucking hell, that's going to be massive. So clearly Netflix is doing a great job
Yeah,
for
They do it the
with
same
their
thing with
Formula
golf.
One.
That's
Yeah,
what-
exactly.
It's just like even non-golfers can watch full swing and
Full
go,
swing.
"Yep, they're just
Froth
rich
on it."
people arguing about money. As I said, thank you so much for coming,
Thanks,
mate.
Rob.
Really appreciate it.
Some great chat.
I reckon we'll do another one. To be
Yeah, we
honest.
got
I
it.
reckon we would.
Brilliant.
So.
We've only covered half of it.
I know.
Oh,
It's
mate.
not even got started.
Scratch.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks so much. We will see you again. We'll make a deal with that and see you soon.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
mate.